Joey, I need to ask you a question.
What's up?
You're married, yes?
Yes, I am married.
Okay, so I have given this advice probably 6 times, and it's only Wednesday. So I think I'm just going to make a reel for it with your help. So I'm going to ask you a question.
What's up?
I have the best marriage advice for all married couples, but I need to know what's a common fight that's in your house.
So I care about my wife a lot, and I will always want her to be in a good mood. And sometimes she's not in a bad mood at all, but I'll think she's in a bad mood, and I will ask her, hey, how are you doing? Are you okay? And I'll ask it like very consistently and way too much throughout the day to where it turns into her getting annoyed at me. And I tell her I'll stop all the time, but every time I sense she's in a bad mood, I'm just like, hey, how you doing? Are you okay?
Yeah.
And yeah, it always happens.
Okay, and like when you ask her that and she is in a good mood, but then she's annoyed that you're asking her that, how does she generally respond?
It turns into her being in less of a good mood.
Okay. So here is an example, because it's kind of something that isn't going to ever really stop unless you like learn to stop yourself, right? But you want her to be happy. So what I and Brandon have learned is that if we phrase certain things a certain way, we get better results. And you've heard in marriage that it's always you and your partner against the problem, right?
Yeah.
But in this scenario, you're like, your RBF is the problem. So like, how do we fix that? And that's actually the wrong way to think of it. The problem here is that you want reassurance that she's always in a good mood. Like you want her to be happy, and you're searching for something that you're wanting her to give. But what if it didn't have to come from her? What if we were able to find a solution outside of her? And that might actually solve this in your marriage, right? So the way to do that is to say, I can tell when I ask you over and over again if you're okay, it drives you crazy. But I care about you a lot. And what feels good for me is to get some sort of reassurance that you're good or not. Because if you're not, I want to fix it because I love you. I'm a good husband, right?
Yeah.
That would be fair to communicate?
For sure.
So you're like, what feels good to me is that I do need something that shows me you're fine. But me asking you if you're fine is not working. So what would feel good to you that you would be okay either participating in or giving me so that I know you're good without having to ask that you're good? And that question right there is like a way of saying, if I can't ask you if you're okay, because it's annoying, what is a solution that you and I can find together so that I know that my wife is happy, because that's important to me, and you can like love and appreciate that it's important to me. But it also is something that you feel good at participating in. So maybe I give you like a look and you give me a thumbs up and we just don't communicate, but like you give me what I'm looking for. Is that a solution that feels good to you? And like when we say, this is what feels good for me, does that feel good for you? It allows our spouse to participate in the conversation and communicate, no, I don't want to give you a fucking thumbs up. Like that also sucks for me. And then it's like, well, then what would feel good for you? And if the answer is for you just not to ask, then we're not necessarily having a conversation, right? We're not problem solving together. But if you're able to say, what is a way for us to have check-ins then? Maybe it's once a week we have a set appointment and we do check-ins because I just want to know you're good. You're important to me. And that might feel good for her. But when you say, this is what I think would feel good for me, does that feel good for you? And they're allowed to say no, but then we also have a conversation about what the solution is. We usually end up solving the problem outside of it just being someone's responsibility to change. Because I don't want to change, you don't want to change. Like that's usually not the solution. The solution is usually outside of us. Does that make sense?
Yes, makes complete sense. And I will stop asking my wife if she's okay all the time and ask her what I can do to make her, like how we can, collaborate together on it.
Yeah, exactly.